with Pokemon Champions being about 6 days away, currently recording this on April 3rd. So if this video comes out a little later, then my bad. I'm just slow at editing. But with Pokemon Champions being a little under a week away, I wanted to go over some of the world champions we've previously seen in the Pokemon VGC scene. Um, just to basically say, are these guys still viable? Will we see them again? Or have they dropped off due to power creep or just a better replacement, like for example, Urshifu being a massive staple on teams and being like the fighting type on most teams. I guess we'll go in order. So first, Alolan Marowak, I want to say will be very good. You get the Thick Club with the 2 times attack boost, with a amazing stab of Fire and Ghost. You get Flare Blitz, Shadow Bone. You get coverage with Bone Meringue. You get great abilities. You get an electric immunity with Lightning Rod for electric redirection. You get, I believe he gets Curse Body as well if you want to run a more bulky set and do like I think he also gets if you want to do like a more bulky set with like taunt or stuff like that. Alolan Marowak is a very good Pokemon. I just think it will struggle nowadays just a little bit, but I do think that due to its massive attack stat, especially going off of the Thick Club, it will be viable in one way or another, especially with the beautiful stab options of Fire and Ghost. Pretty good defensive typing as well. I think it's just an overall good Pokemon. However, there are definitely more contenders for a fire type, especially later with you know, Mr. VGC down here in Incineroar, which, to get this out of the way, Incineroar will win again. It's Incineroar. Even with the confirmed loss of knockoff, I mean, you're taking away a cupcake from a buffet. No one's gonna notice the cupcake is gone. They're gonna be more focused on all of the other food. Parting shot, U-turn, fake out, taunt, will-o-wisp, flare blitz. It still gets darkest lariat. So if you want to go for a like an offensive slash defensive assault vest set, which I'm assuming due to knockoff being gone, people are gonna use that a little less. But it's still viable. It's still possible. I used a couple weeks ago. I used an assault vest Incineroar for a not a local tournament, but an online tournament in a Discord. I used it and I top cut top 16. However, to be fair, it was a 40-person tournament, so that's a little over half uh, that I made my way through. But still goes to show Incineroar, amazing Pokemon, has been good ever since Gen 7 and when it got Intimidate. Yeah, I didn't even mention Intimidate. Yeah, it gets Intimidate the best ability in the game with an asterisk because I'd say Unseen Fist and weather setting move or weather weather setting abilities are better, or terrain setting abilities in my opinion. But Intimidate, beautiful defensive ability. The only time it's a drawback is when a Pokemon has competitive or defiant or contrary. But in those cases, you just don't bring Incineroar and you bring something that deals with them. Like for Annihilate, you can just use Flutter Mane and just either Shadow Ball or Moonblast or Dazzling Gleam, and the thing's basically dead instantly unless you're running a specially bulky Annihilate, which that's its own thing. But Incineroar, you've heard it. If you're in the VGC scene, you know why he's up here. He's incredibly bulky. He has amazing stat. Let me actually pull up Showdown. He's incredibly even like yeah, like I have him as the thing. Let me just open a box. Also, this is a Worlds team or a Champions team that I'm working on. They don't have Champions up. Incineroar, you get Intimidate, you get Fake Out, you get Flare Blitz, you get Taunt, you get Will-O-Wisp. What other moves? And the thing about Incineroar, you never see anybody run Protect. Let's just go Reg F. You never see anybody run Protect because that's kind of like a waste of a slot on Incineroar because of how many things Incineroar can do. And you always want Incineroar doing something. If he's just sitting there doing nothing, I feel like that's just a waste of a turn, even though they gave him Helping Hand. I completely forgot. What else? Leech Life, I guess. You're not going to use that, but that's a thing. Knockoff, he doesn't get that anymore. Parting Shots. Snarl, I haven't seen that in a while, but Taunt, Throat Chop, I think that's gonna be way uh better of an option now that Incineroar doesn't have knockoff anymore. So for like an Assault Vest set in Champions, you're gonna do like something like this with Throat Chop and then like U-turn, and this is gonna be a good pivoting set just to get Intimidates off. But if you want uh like a more supportive set, you could do Taunt, you could do Throat Chop, you could do Parting Shots. The loss of knockoff is big, but it's not big enough to downgrade Incineroar a couple pegs. It's just unfortunate in my opinion. So yeah. Uh, but yeah, that's why Incineroar's up there. Same thing with Amoonguss. I mean, it's Amoonguss is great. You get Regenerator, you get Spore, you get Rage Powder for redirection, you get Pollen Puff, you get Protect. In this case, you want to run Protect because you want to be able to sit on the field and just start messing with things. Uh, it's not the same case where you don't want to run Protect on Incineroar. You want Protect on this guy because you want him to sit and disrupt. You can run Citrus Berry, even though I wouldn't really recommend that with the scary horses we'll get to later. Um, you could run Leftovers, Terrestrialization. You haven't seen Black Sludge, but that's an option, a really good option, and a really popular option when there is no Terra, because you're going to be changing your type. So in like Dynamax formats or in Mega formats with no Terra, you're going to be probably seeing Black Sludge a lot, especially because if you trick a user and swap their item, it'll damage a non-poison type Pokemon, which in turn, it's beneficial because it's an item that you don't want to trick. But you get that. People have been running Sludge Bomb or Sludge Bomb. Oh my god. Sludge Bomb over Pollen Puff a lot because Sludge Bomb is just a good anti-Flutter Mane thing going off of that special attack. But still, Sludge Bomb is a good. I mean, I ran a set. That spec'd into. I think this was my set. Yeah, I ran a set similar to this back in the day. I think it was Regulation F when it was first going around, and then Regulation I think I also ran that set. And it was just to make sure I would do a little more damage to Flutter Mane. I didn't calc anything back then. I just kind of winged it, but it did the job. Amoonguss is one of these Pokemon where you can just use a set from like 13 years ago and it'll work perfectly fine. Next up, Bronzong. I do not think Bronzong will win ever again. I could be proven wrong. There could be a metagame where Bronzong is an anti-meta pick or something like that. However, the case being he got his job taken from him by a giraffe, and I think that's really unfortunate because I think Bronzong's a decent Pokemon. Wolf Glick won with him in 2016 Worlds. However, To be fair, that entire team was anti-meta just to like strike down Team Big Six, which, you know, I mean, fair enough. You if you're looking for anti-meta, boom, anti-meta. Like I said, Bronzong, it's a good anti-meta pick, but with power creep and especially the draft, which we will get to later, I think I don't think Bronzong has a very good chance on winning again. Brute Bonnet is one of the more recent world winners, um, being the paradox form of Amoonguss. The only thing holding Brute Bonnet back from top is the fact that it doesn't get a quote unquote real ability. Photosynthesis is a good ability, yeah, but it basically means you're either running him in Sun or you're running him with Booster. And I think that's really restrictive, especially since Amoonguss can be placed on so many different teams and work like incredibly well. Brute Bonnet basically does same Spore shenanigans, same Rage Powder. However, he's a physical attacker with access to Sucker Punch, meaning that he is very good anti-Calyrex. However, anything with a dark type move in an attack stat over 80 is anti-Calyrex Shadow, so I mean, take what you will, but it's decent. You also get, random grass coverage with Seed Bomb. Do you get Woodhammer? You don't get Woodhammer. Do you get Grassy Glide? No, you wait. No, you don't. Um, I think giving this guy Grassy Glide wouldn't hurt. It'll just give him another option, and it will also make his viability a lot better. But for steel types, you get close combat. I mean, you get Crunch. However, you won't use that over Sucker. Pollen Puff again. Stomping Tantrum, Taunt. I mean, it's a good disruption Pokemon. However, it's not as good as Amoonguss. It's a good shiny though. Barely changes, but I like it. Uh, okay, next up we have the horse. The horse will win again. Calyrex is just broken. Calyrex, especially Calyrex Shadow. I'll talk about both of them. These guys are DLC Pokemon. They cost what, a total of $90. You got to get Sword and Shield, and then you got to buy the $30 DLC. The fact that they have two abilities is crazy. I think Chilling Neigh and what is it? Chilling Neigh and Grim Neigh, that's all they need, and they still are good. The fact that they have Unnerve and make pinch berries and citrus berries and like lumberries, stuff like that, just berries in general, it's so annoying because berries aren't even broken. Like the only time they were broken was a Snorlax set back in Gen 7 that used a Figgy Berry, I believe. Figgy Berry with Gluttony. But even then, they nerfed pinch berries. So I don't know why they have Unnerve at all, even though, I mean, the Pokemon with Unnerve is literally riding on a horse. Also, this is like the stupidest fusion. Stupid, but I will agree, it's funny. Um, I do think them having Psychic type is helping the metagame be a little more balanced because, Incineroar and Knockoff and Throat Chop and then just Dark types in general and Ghost types can deal with these guys. Not easily, but they can deal with them. Um, Trick Room teams with this guy. I mean, these guys basically make Wide Guard basically required. It's pretty important to have Wide Guard when these guys are running around. But like Astral Barrage is doing numbers. You get Psyshock, you get Psychic, you get you can make a Calm Mindset. You can, I mean, these guys get Helping Hand. They get Life Dew. They get Leech Seed for some reason. They get Pollen Puff. They get a lot. They get Will-O-Wisp, but I'm pretty sure this is just because this is Shadow Rider. They get Taunt, Skills. I mean, you're not going to Skill Swap. I don't think you even can. Shadow Ball, but you're not going to use that because you have Astral Barrage. Also, this is a 120 base power move that hits both foes. And by the way, when you kill a Pokemon, you get a special attack boost. And for this guy, you kill a Pokemon, you get a physical attack boost. It's crazy. The horses, they will win again. I don't think they're better than Amoonguss, though. Amoonguss has been around longer. It's just one of those things where Amoonguss is better because it can do more. These guys are just powerhouses. they can either set up and sweep you, or uh, they can just sweep you, or they can set up a trick room and sweep you. But they're good. Next up is Celesteela. Celesteela, I think, has. He's not legal currently because we don't have Ultra Beasts, but I remember this guy being crazy. Uh, Flying Steel type is historically good. Immunity to ground, immunity to poison. Steel type resists a bunch of stuff. You get a ton of stats being an Ultra Beast. You get Beast Boost, which is good. I would say, again, not the best ability, but it is a very good ability. You can do funny explosion stuff, but I think the most evil thing is just being a bulky Pokemon. Like you get Leech Seed for some reason. I know it's supposed to be like a bamboo shoot, but I don't know why they gave him Leech Seed. You get Flash Cannon. People used Heavy Slam. They used Heavy Slam and what other flying type attacks? No, Hidden Power's gone. What are flying type? You get Acrobatics. You get Fly. No, I think some people used. No, they didn't use Flyinium Z. I'm making stuff up. But this guy was just so versatile. However, with the new addition of like Miraidon and other electric types and fire types just being so good currently, I think that Celesteela fell off a little bit. Do I think Celesteela might win again? Yes, I do, because A, he's heavy. B, it's Celesteela. It's also an Ultra Beast. It's just really good. Next up, Chi-Yu. Chi-Yu, I do think will win again. Chi-Yu and Shin-Pao, I'll just tackle them together because they're the only Swords of Ruin we have up here. Chi-Yu and Shin-Pao, they have the ability to lower stats of opposing Pokemon and just any active Pokemon. So 25% drop to everybody's special defense, hitting heat waves and dark pulses and overheat. It's basically going to one-shot everything that doesn't have like flash fire or that's not like a fairy type. Same thing with Shin-Pao. Shin-Pao basically kills all grass types, all ghost types, all most ground types. You get Icicle Crash, you get Ice Spinner for like anti-terrain. You get Sucker Punch. You get Sword Stance, but you also get Sacred Sword. The only thing with Shin-Pao I'd say that makes him worse than Chi-Yu is that you have to run like Focus Sash. Like I feel like having your like Focus Sash being used on Shin-Pao is the only drawback. However, if you have a team where this is the only Focus Sash you need, then yeah, I think that's fair. With Shin-Pao, you can spec into more defensively. Like even though I know you won't, but you could do something like this and run it in like a tail room, and that'll be perfectly fine because 80 defense. I mean, it's not the best in the world, but actually, never mind. I just remembered he has 55 HP. So yeah, okay. These guys very frail, but they're still good. Ignore my argument for I think these guys are pretty much synonymous. They're basically the same. Conkeldurr, moving on to Conkeldurr. I don't. Gen 5 is one of those cases where the Pokemon aged really well. However, a lot of them are victims of power creep, and a lot of them are. They're in this weird middle ground of generations where at the time they were really good, not even just counting the first worlds with them because they were the only Pokemon you were allowed to use because of black and white stuff. But Conkeldurr, it's a good Trick Room Pokemon. He gets Mach Punch, he gets Iron Fist, he gets Guts. You can do a Guts set, um, Ice Hammer. I mean, he's a good Pokemon. These stats aren't bad. It's just like he's not as good. I mean, if you want to run a Trick Room fighting type, like I can just do fighting and then very bottom you can go like Iron Hands. We're gonna talk about later. I mean, now that Chestnut has a Mega, yeah, you can do Mega Chestnut. I mean, you could even do Mega Imbor, even though I think that's kind of sad. Uh, they gave him Mold Breaker. I think that's sad. It's not bad. It's just sad. You can go Slitherwing. You're not going to win with Slitherwing, unfortunately, but it's still good. People have top cut tournaments and I think a regional with Okidogi. And even though he's more of a Tail Room and not just a Trick Room Pokemon, I think that the fact he gets Guard Dog is good enough. I mean, not that these are bad abilities. I just think that this is more in line of what we want from a fighting type. More so a poison type than a fighting type. But it's just Conkeldurr. He's aging. Cresselia, I would put above these three. Cresselia has been one of those Pokemon who've just stuck with it, dude. They buffed her as well. You get two brand new moves. You're not using this one because we played doubles, and Lunar Blessing cures status, heals allies. So if an Amoonguss puts you to sleep, and you're running safety goggles, so you don't have to worry about being put to sleep yourself, you can do Lunar Blessing, heal your guy up. Not to mention, paired with Ursaluna, this guy's kind of crazy. You can do a more. I like to run offensive sets with like Psychic and Moonblast or Shadow Ball. I wouldn't recommend doing Shadow Ball though. I'd more recommend if you're doing offensive, do Moonblast or Dazzling Gleam, but that's just me. You get Bolt Beam, that's good. You get Trick Room, which is what Cressy is known for setting up. It's good Trick Room Pokemon. Its defenses are beautiful, absolutely stunning defenses. Um, I think like if I'm not wrong, Max Attack, Adamant Nature, Choice Band, Tyranitar is not able to one-shot Cresselia with knockoff. Not able to. And that's with Cressy holding an item. He's not able to do it. He can do like up to 60%, which is still, that's Tyranitar. He's still goaded. But Cressy's just so bulky, especially if you do max defense, which I've seen more often nowadays. But Cresselia is just one of those Pokemon who's going to stick around forever. Okay. Dialga has won one Worlds. I forget exactly which year. But Dialga is the first Pokemon that we're going to put in Unk status. Funnily enough, the God of Time is not immune to aging. Dialga does nothing. Dialga doesn't do anything. Kind of sits on the field. He wants to be a. I mean, you look at these stats and you're like, oh my god, Steel Dragon type. Wow, that's amazing. What does he do? He does nothing. He drops a Draco Meteor. He gets Power Jib. Like all of his stuff look good, but he's a Trick Room setter with nothing. Like he gets Pressure and then Telepathy. So you can use what? Earthquake next to him? These are bad abilities. I'd rather use Protect and just be immune for that entire turn rather than have Telepathy and do this. And then you get, what people are going to bring up, Dialga Origin Form. It's the same Pokemon. Like, yeah, the boost in special attack is nice. No, it's not even a boost in special attack. It's a boost in special defense. What is this Pokemon? This is the worst aging. Like you take 20 out of here. The only to make this Pokemon good, you'd have to take like 50 out. And even then, I'd say put 10 in HP, 10 in special defense, and then 10 in special attack. And even then, Ghost Dragon has no offensive pressure. You have no reason to try to knock this guy out. He's going to get one Draco Meteor off, and then he's going to be basically like useless for the rest of the game. You get T-Wave and Trick Room, but at that point, just use Cresselia. And Cresselia's been around for the same amount of time than that Dialga has. And then you get the joke of a the absolute joke of a signature move, Roar of Time. Oh my god. At least Palkia has a good signature move. It's Dragon type with a high chance to crit. This is just Dragon type Hyper Beam. Hyper Beam is a fun move. It's good, great in the anime, but I would argue Dragon type is worse than normal. Offensively at least, it's resisted by Steel and it's immune to Fairy. But it's only super effective against itself. So it's a bunch of stuff for neutral. But Fairy, I mean, we live in Flutter Main land now. It's not like you're also not clicking this ever because you can't move the next turn, and that's like he's just bad. Empoleon also in the same tier. They even buffed Empoleon this generation, gave him competitive, but I've seen no play. It doesn't get muddy water, doesn't get Scald, so you're running Surf or you're running Water Pledge. Like the worst thing about Empoleon, he has no offensive pressure because he has no um special attacking water moves. I mean, you have Surf, but that also attacks your partner. So this guy is better in singles than VGC, which I mean, you can. I mean, that's your choice whether or not you want to play. But I feel like this guy was debatably better with Defiant. Actually, no. Looking at the 86 attack is sad. Yeah, Empoleon is just not going to win ever again. Unfortunate. Escavalier. Escavalier is one of those Pokemon where he has one of the best typings in the game. He has Shell Armor and Overcoat, which is two great abilities. He's immune to Spore, he's immune to Rage Powder, he's immune to Sandstorm. He is immune to Sandstorm anyways, but he's immune to a bunch of stuff. And then you have like anti-Urshifu with Shell Armor, so you can spec here and here. But this guy's min max, dude. The only stat he's lacking in that is hindering him is that HP. His attack, beautiful. His speed, amazing Trick Room Pokemon. Underspeeds Amoonguss is always great. He does underspeed Amoonguss, right? The fact that I don't know Amoonguss' speed tier. Yeah, he underspeeds Amoonguss all the time. He's always going to have a niche, and I feel like the only thing holding him back is that he's bug type. He doesn't get also he doesn't get U-turn for some reason, which I find kind of sad. Uh, the list of physical moves he learns is good. He gets close combat, he gets Iron Head, he gets X Scissor, he gets knockoff. I'm not sure if they're gonna let him keep that. Uh, Even then, I mean Fell Stinger. I think we saw use of Fell Stinger in Dynamax, I believe, because it's a good move to just like if something's on like Focus Sash, it's a good finishing move, especially if you run like Assault Vest. You get X Scissor, you get Iron Head or Iron Head, Fell Stinger, and then like Close Combat or something. This could be a good set. However, I'd personally go with a more defensive set like Citrus Berry or Lefties or maybe even Choice Band or Lorb. Lorb would also work. I think Lorb is better, especially with Protect, so you can guarantee that you can be safe for a couple turns. What does Shiny look like? His Shiny's decent. It's okay. I'm gonna move him up. I'm gonna move him right behind Marowak. Okay, we have the Giraffe. Uh, I would say the Giraffe is better than Calyrex, just for the fact that the Giraffe is not going to be is not a restricted Pokemon. The giraffe has armor tail, so no fake out, no grassy glide, no extreme speed, no Mach Punch. You get a really nice HP stat. You get okay defenses. You get a nice special attack stat. You get Trick Room. You get Hyper Voice. You can run Throat Spray. You can run Citrus Berry. You can run so many different things. Terra Fairy. What else? You get Reflect. Do you get Light Screen? You do, but you're not going to run those because you're just a Trick Room Pokemon that basically gets Trick Room up all the time. You also block Sucker Punch. I don't know why he gets Sucker Punch, but you also block Sucker Punch. So you're safe from, uh, like Chin Pao Sucker, which is great. Yeah, Farigiraf is definitely going to win. Same with Fluttermane. Oh my god, we live in Fluttermane land now. Fluttermane, where do I even begin? Ghost Fairy, amazing stab, amazing defenses, Moonblast, Dazzling Gleam. You get do you get Bolt Beam or is it just Bolt? Yeah, you get Thunderbolt, you get Energy Ball, you get Dark Pulse, Mystical Fire, you get Power Gem. Um, I mean, its stats are so big that people were like going into its physical bulk because they just could. They just like usually for glass cannons you have to go like for Chin Pao, you basically all the time you just this is your set. Every day of the week this is your set. But for Fluttermane, I remember people ran like a set like this where they'd spec all their stats where this was your set, and I forget if it was booster or it was in Sun, but it was good. Specs is scary, especially if you're just running plain like offensive pressure. Like this is scary. Having a speed boost in Sun due to Proto, and then the specs boost due to specs is you're gonna do crazy damage. You're gonna be moving quicker than everything. It's crazy. Again, just good Pokemon back to back. Garchomp, I would say less likely to, not as good as everything here, but still great. It has, unfortunately, has two useless Mega Evolutions, but you're just going to use your Mega on something else that'll benefit it. You get Sandveil, Rough Skin, you're going to run Orb, or you can run Choice Band, Choice Scarf, you're going to run EQ, you're going to run Stomping Tantrum, you're going to run Rock Slide. You could run Claw. I've seen people run. I saw one weird set where somebody had a Gravity team and they were running Dragon Rush, which was kind of scary because you're doing a lot more damage than Dragon Claw, but it's also Dragon Rush. It has 75 accuracy, so kind of sucks. Outrage if you really want to, but you can't choose who you target, unfortunately. Garchomp is just one of those Pokemon who's always going to be good. I am uneducated on Gardevoir. I know she did really well when Mega was around. She gets Pixelate. Hyper Voice. Okay, so you're running Hyper Voice. I'm assuming you're always Mega Evolving, especially with that godlike special attack. Okay, I see the vision. Pixelate, Expanding Force. Expanding Force next to it like in DD. And DD female, but male also works. Yeah, I'm not educated on her. Trick, you can set up Trick Room yourself. Fast Trick Room setter is always good. I prefer slower, but yeah, I see it. Yeah, I'd move her at the right around here. I'd actually move Marowak. No, yeah, this is the change I made. Gastrodon. Gastrodon is a strange case where he or she doesn't have a place, uh, unless there's like Kyogre or something. Due to the fact of Storm Drain and just the fact that Gastrodon is decently bulky with that HP stat, the only thing they're really pulling it back is 68 defense. But you get recovery with recover, clear smog for anti setup. You get earth power, muddy water, scald, sludge bomb, yawn. Yawn is really annoying to deal with. Uh, but the fact is, none of this matters. The only thing that matters is storm drain. The fact that you redirect all water type attacks instantly makes this guy anti-Urshifu, which is really important because we'll get to that later. But redirecting water attacks is great. It's just water type Lightning Rod. However, Lightning Rod's not as good because it's electric type moves. Water is a much more oppressive type. It hits a lot of things for neutral. It's really important things for super effective. That being fire. Uh, Rock isn't as important, but it can be dangerous. So you get it's a very good attacking type and defensive type. Like and with like Kyogre on the field and stuff, this is incredible ability just because of the facts that you redirect water moves. So Gastrodon will win again. It's just a matter of when and in what format. I guarantee you we're going to see another Gastrodon placement again. Gastrodon already has 2 world wins under her belt. So, yeah. Gengar, I'm going to put above Gardevoir. The reason Gengar isn't at the top is because regular Gengar, not very good. However, Mega Gengar, I mean, not I say not very good as if we're not looking at these stats, and these are beautiful stats. You can run Sash, you can run a bunch of just different disruption sets. Uh, but the fact that you get Shadow Tag upon a Mega evolving, the only thing is that they removed Encore in Scarlet and Violet, which was kind of, I wouldn't say super important, but this was one of his best disrupting moves. You get Split, you get Pain Split, you get Perish Song, uh, Shadow Ball, Sludge Bomb are always good. Taunt, always good. If you really want to, you can do Toxic or T-Spikes, but you have Glamora for that. Will-O-Wisp, always good. Issue is, I mean, due to Mega Evolution, he's a little bulkier, but he's very frail. And we have Flutter Mane, and we just have really good steel types since Mega Evolution has been gone. I can see a world where Gengar can win. Also, amazing shiny. I can see a world where Gengar can win. I think it's has to be specific. However, very very likely. Wolf Glick. Gothitelle I would put below, but Gothitelle, a lot of the same things we're going to talk about with Gothitelle we talked about for Gengar. We're ignoring these 2 abilities, even though competitive is amazing. Shadow Tag, locking Pokemon onto the field is great. You don't get Encore, but you get Helping Hands, you get Fake Out, you get Protect, uh, Psychic. Basically, always running some form of recovery. You're specking all of your stats into bulk. You're trying to stick us around as long as possible, so you know Perish Song Pokemon can't kill everything. It's a Perish Trap Pokemon. It's scary. It's Wolf Glick's specialty. Groudon is going to win again. Once again. Primal Groudon is just one of those Pokemon who's crazy. Groudon normal is also crazy, but a little less so. And also, like, Desolate Land is absolutely horrific. You run Assault Vest with Precipice Blades, high horsepower. Heat Crash, Thunder Punch, stuff like that. It's just Groudon and Kyogre are. I'll rank Kyogre as well up here. They they have a better chance of winning. Yeah, no, I'm putting them at the very top. They have a better chance of winning than I think everything else. It's just two Pokemon that stand the test of time and that will always be good for the fact they have weather setting abilities, they have amazing stats, they have great coverage. I mean, Kyogre gets Thunderbolt, Thunder, Ice Beam, and I think Hurricane, if I'm not wrong. I just showed you a set for I mean, this is my personal set for Groudon, but these two Pokemon they're timeless. Really, you're never gonna see a world where these two Pokemon aren't going to be used. Gyarados, you get Intimidate, you get Disruption with Taunt and T-Wave. I can see it. I'm gonna put it at the bottom of potential win because there are better options like Incineroar. You get Mega Gyarados with Mold Breaker, but Mold Breaker is just one of those abilities where it's like, okay, you have this. Now what? I mean, I'd rather have Intimidate than Mold Breaker, but whatever. You have to be worried about electric type attacks, especially with um, Miraidon running around, and even like Mega Gyarados. Yeah, Mold Breaker, it's good. It ignores Gastrodon, which is good, but if Mega Gyarados is good, Gastrodon won't be good because Storm Drain. But it doesn't hit the same notes as everything else. I mean, these are great stats. It's incredibly bulky. I just don't. With Miraidon running around, I don't know how well this beautiful special defense stat will hold up. I will put in potential win because of his Mega, but if it's a format without Megas, it's kind of struggling. And that's not to say Gyarados is a bad Pokemon. No, far from it. It will win regionals and everything, but I feel like during like a Worlds event, it's gonna struggle a little bit. Hariyama is never gonna win again. It's a worse Conkeldurr. And we said Conkeldurr probably won't. The only thing it does better than Conkeldurr is be a little bulkier. Actually, let's compare. Let's compare. He's bulkier with the better attack stat, but his defenses are lower, so you have to run basically Assault Vest or Clear Amulet or something. You have to run, I would say, run Thick Fat if you're going a more supportive role. With this bulk, I mean, it's kind of questionable whether or not you live too many things. I don't think you do, even though this HP is gorgeous. I just feel like Conkeldurr just took his job. He's more offensive. He's a better Trick Room Pokemon with Sheer Force and Guts. You get Sheer Force and Guts as well, but your attack is 20 points lacking. And he's slower. So it's just you underspin a lot of more things. Hariyama is just, he's old, and that's what's keeping him back. Heatran. Heatran and Cresselia are in the same boat. They get better over time. They, um, Heatran especially. Heatran does this thing where the more powerful and unbalanced the format is, the better Heatran is. Beautiful fire and steel typing. You get a bunch of immunities, a bunch of resistances. Flash fire, fire immunity. You can switch into flare blitz. You can switch into a bunch of different things. Heat wave. You get flash cannon. You get Magma Storm, which is terrifying move, but really amazing move in my opinion. I love using this move. It's so addicting. Is it a gamble? Yeah, but I love to gamble. I play Pokemon. I mean, look at these accuracies. Like, I mean, this is a bad example because Heatran has good moves. Like Precipice Blades. You have a 15% chance not to hit this really strong attack that will win you the game. Like, you that's a really big chance not to hit an attack that might win you the game. Like 75%. 20 that's a D4. You hit a 1, you miss, and Zamazenta body presses you and you die. Uh he's one of these Pokemon where he just gets better over time. The stronger the format is, just stronger the format, the better Heatran is. Fire Steel, amazing typing. These stats are beautiful. Special attack stat, beautiful. Defenses, beautiful. HP, great. Not the best HP we've seen, because, like Hariyama. But amazing, amazing Pokemon. Very balanced, I will say that. Very uncharacteristically balanced. And that's the weird thing about Heatran. Heatran, he's incredibly balanced by the fact that he gets better with stronger opponents around him because he can take hits better. He does better into things. He's just a really good Pokemon. And the more I talk about him, the more I just go over the same points. Hitmontop. The only reason Hitmontop is not going in Unk status is because he has Intimidate and Fake Out. Wolf Glick won with him back in 2016. I'm checking my cheat sheet right now to see if he won anything else. No. So this is the only team he's ever won on. I mean, he's okay. You get Intimidate, you get Technician. You're never running Technician. You're always running Intimidate. Nowadays, I mean, I tried to use him. I use him with Covert Cloak. Or Clear Amulet is also good. Close Combat, Mach Punch, Fake Out, Feint, Protect, or Detect. You could Coaching, you could Helping Hand, Quick Guard was good. You could set up Weather, except for Snow. You get Wide Guard, which is incredible. I was using a Wide Guard set when I was using this guy in Scarlet and Violet. I used him because I just didn't want to use Incineroar because I was using Incineroar too much, but then after using him for a while, I realized I'm just kind of putting myself at a detriment by using him. He's fun. He's silly. Great defenses, but terrible HP, and I feel like that's what's holding him back more than anything. His speed set is also kind of holding him back. He's a okay Tail Room Pokemon, but I'd rather have a base set of 80 for Tailwind. Or Tail Room, base set of 80 for Tail Room. So yeah, probably won't win. I'm gonna say the same thing for Hydreigon. Hydreigon is really sad because Hydreigon's my favorite Pokemon. You get Levitate, you get Draco Meteor, you get Dark Pulse. I mean, this guy, how many times? This guy's won twice, I believe. Yeah, he's won Worlds 2 different times. To be fair, one of those times was when Black and White Pokemon were the only ones allowed. You get Nasty Plot, you get Heat Wave, you get, Signal Beam, you get T-Wave, Tri-Attack. You're not using Tri-Attack, but you get Tri-Attack. You get U-Turn, you get Hydro Pump, you get Fire Blast, Flamethrower, Flash Cannon, Heat Wave, you get Earth Power. Incredible Pokemon. Great defenses, great special attack. The only thing is, we have the little thing called Fairy type, and this Pokemon is the reason Fairy type exists. Hydreigon was so oppressive that one of the reasons that Fairy type exists is because of Hydreigon. I mean, Fairy type is good into both Dark and Dragon type. So it's going to be hitting him like a truck. Times 4 weakness to anything is already detrimental. I think the only time you get away with it is if you're Heatran with a times 4 weakness to ground, but even then, if you're playing in Terra, you just Terra Flying or you Terra Grass or Bug, and you should be fine. With Hydreigon, you can Terra Steel, but I, I feel like wasting your Terra on Hydreigon, especially in a high power format, is really bad. I I tried using a a couple of weeks ago. I used like a set similar to this. I don't remember the exact stats, but I remember it was max speed timid. I used Tailwind just because I wanted to use my favorite Pokemon. He's okay. He's just slower than you'd want him to be. You'd want him to be at like base 100. You'd want him to. He hits. Draco is strong. Snarl is good. Disruption. Tailwind is always good. Covert Cloak. Levitate, good. This Pokemon's a good Pokemon. I don't think he's gonna win though. He's at like the top of probably won't. Like he's like the. I want him to be the bouncer for potential win. I really do. I love this Pokemon. This is my favorite Pokemon. But he's got so many disadvantages nowadays with power creep and just the introduction of the fairy type. It's not good. We got Brian. We got Brian Hands. What was Game Freak thinking? You remember when I said Hariyama is bad? This is Hariyama on crack cocaine because it's literally Hariyama, but you know in Cyberpunk, you know David Martinez. You remember when he got You remember this? You remember when he got this implanted? Oh my god. Do you remember when he got this implanted into him? Hariyama saw, oh, I'm not going to use. I'm actually buns. My defenses are terrible. Let me call my homie Game Freak. Give me an implant, dude. Holy hell, dude! Wow, you get a better HP stat. Remember when I was glazing his HP stat? You get a better HP stat, a much better defense stat. Your special defense goes up for some reason. Your special attack goes up for no reason. You're not using your special attack. Actually, I do. I use Volt Switch. I don't use Heavy Slam on this guy. I just use Volt Switch. The only thing holding this guy back from being absolutely insane, even though he already is the fact he's electric type and that electric physical moves are non-existent. You have to run Wild Charge or Supercell Slam. I would take Wild Charge every day of the week. Supercell Slam is barely stronger and has a much bigger drawback. But that doesn't matter because Drain Punch just heals you. And since you like kill everything, you heal so much. These aren't the actual stats because you do level 50. Adamant Nature 211 is going to kill so many things instantly. The only reason you're not going to kill things instantly is because you're running Drain Punch and Wild Charge. You're running Drain Punch because you want to stick around longer because you want to be stupid. You're running Fake Out because you get Fake Out, and Fake Out is insane. You're running Volt Switch or Heavy Slam. Heavy Slam is counteractive to Flutter Mane. You're running Volt Switch for pivoting so you get more Fake Out, and just for pivoting, so it pairs well with Incineroar and Rillaboom, which we'll get to later, because Rillaboom's insane. The only thing is bad that he's competing for a slot with Assault Vest, which if you don't need any other Pokemon with an Assault Vest, then you're fine. He's an amazing Trick Room Pokemon. Hands is, I would say, better than Frigoraph, in my opinion. I would say, yeah, okay. I would say these two are on the same playing field. Fluttermane's a little bit better, though, because of the Fairy type and Ghost type. Iron Hands is right behind her, though. Oh my gosh. Insane Pokemon. Okay. Kangaskhan. I'm going to put her in potential win. And here's why. I don't think she's that good anymore. Parental bond got nerfed, yes. That's not what I'm talking about. These the stat spread is beautiful, I know, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about Urshifu. Urshifu is going to kill this guy. I we haven't even gotten to Urshifu. We'll do that now. Urshifu, I don't know why he looks like this, but he's up there. Uh, we'll talk about him in a minute. Kangaskhan is going to struggle so much with the new fighting types. Kangaskhan was part of Big Six, which is like the strongest Pokemon team of all time. It was like everywhere. It was like a virus. The thing holding him back, though, even though normal is an amazing, mono normal is an amazing type, in the ability to, I mean, he doesn't get power up punch anymore, but the ability to use moves twice in a row with parental bond, like big mama hits, then little baby hits, it's not as good as anymore because return is no longer in the game. Power up punch no longer in the game. You're kind of stuck with body slam. I mean, you get fake out, but you're kind of stuck with body slam and you get double edge. Yeah, stuck with body slam and double edge, which isn't the worst option in the world, but it's just it's not as good as return. You know, you get drain punch, you get ice punch, you get seismic toss. If you're gonna use that, you get sucker. I don't know if that got removed or not. You get thunder punch. You get wish. I don't know if they removed that. You get a bunch of you got a bunch of good moves. You get helping hand. You get icy winds. You get rock tomb. Um, you're getting what else? What else? What are some good things I can say about you? You get trump card, I guess. This is a useless move, but it's kind of funny that he has it. Uh, you get work up. That you're not using that, but you get zap cannon. Oh yeah, you're running zap cannon. No, you're not. I might eat my words when I say this, but I don't think Kangaskhan is going to win ever again. I know it's crazy, but the power creep is crazier. And I think in having Kangaskhan this low is staggering to me specifically. Especially if it's in a format with no Mega Evolution. Like Gyarados will thrive in Mega Evolution. Uh, Gengar, Gardevoir, Mega Evolution, amazing. Garchomp, not gonna Mega itself, but it's gonna thrive in Mega Evolution. Uh, all of these Pokemon are gonna work fine with Megas. These Pokemon are gonna work fine in Megas. Maybe not a Scavalier, but a Scavalier's up here because of like Dynamax and Z moves and maybe a format with none of that. Kangaskhan relies on Mega Evolution, and even then, it's been nerfed so much, or Kangaskhan herself has been nerfed so much that it's kinda better to use your Mega elsewhere, especially with the new Megas that are much stronger, in my opinion. Okay, good news. Kartana is broken and is one of the best Pokemon of all time. Kartana is another Ultra Beast. We have a couple of them on here. Kartana and we have three. We have Kartana, Celesteela, and later down the line, Stakataka. Kartana is one of my favorites. I'm personally a Xurkitree guy. I love Xurkitree, but he's not a world winner. Sad, but you know, still. You get Leaf Blade. You get Smart Strike. You don't get Iron Head. But these moves aren't really doing too much. Why, Jack? Why do you think that Kartana is gonna be so broken? It has damn near 200 attack. Like, let's drop it down to 50. To level 50. VGC. You have so much room to work with. 256 in the base stat point alone, ignoring Beast Boost, because if you kill something, which you're going to, because look at that attack, you're going to get an attack boost, so your attack's going to go up every time you kill something. But oh, Jack, it's not going to be that broken. I mean, look at his special defense and his HP. Yeah, people ran Assault Vest. People ran Citrus Berry. People ran bulky Kartana because they could, because this thing would kill anything anyways, because it has damn near 200 attack. It's insane. And his regular defense is also insane. The fact that this thing is based on paper. This thing is literally personified origami. That's a samurai. It's a samurai that's personified origami. I forgot, you get Sacred Sword, so you ignore all defense boosts. This guy's insane. Like, I mean, yeah, you can run Focus Sash. You can. I've seen people run Choice Band, Choice Scarf. It's like, do you get U-turn? No, good. Never get U-turn. If you get U-turn, I think the universe will implode. I mean, Vacuum Wave, you're actually no, you're never using that because that's terrible. You get Brick Break. You get Knockoff. Like, look at this set. This set is crazy. Not like if you go into a tournament with Max Attack, Adamant Nature, Choice Scarf, all of these moves, and literally no other stat points, no other inputs, you're still going to be fine because it has enough stats. It has enough stats. It has enough. It's crazy. Kartana is insane. And that's why he's not as insane as Urshifu, which I guess we should talk about now. Urshifu Rapid Strike. This is specifically the world winner, but we'll talk about both of them because they're the same Pokemon. So this is a DLC Pokemon. So you have to buy Sword and Shield or Scarlet and Violet because he's in those games too. But he's in both DLCs, so you have to buy the DLC no matter what. So that's a $60 game. So it's another $90 Pokemon. Surging Strikes always results in a critical hit. Hits 3 times. So, ignoring the critical hit, this would be 75 base power. Critical hit makes things, I believe, double in power. If I'm not wrong, I forget if they nerfed it to 50% boost. But that's a 150 base power move. Assuming you're not Shell Armor. This alone would be broken. However, it would be manageable with Protect. Unseen Fist, you always ignore protection. If you remove Surging Strikes and gave this guy like Wave Crash or Liquidation, it would still be, I believe it would still be in Will Win Again. However, it would be near the bottom. Unseen Fist is that broken because it ignores the most important part of Pokemon balancing, that being Protect. The ability to protect your Pokemon from opposing moves. That is the only thing holding the game together right now. The fact that Game Freak allows us to use Protect and Detect, Protect, Detect, Spiky Shield, Burning Bulwark, Silk Trap, etc., to protect our Pokemon from attacks, and Protect, Detect, and Spiky Shield can also protect from status moves. A lot of other things can't. Is what is like the backbone of the game. Wicked Blow is basically the same move, Dark type, but always only hits once and 150 base power. It's the same thing, Dark type. Bad defensively, good offensively. Water type is just better. Urshifu is so mind-breaking, like just so mind-breaking that I don't really have to explain more. It's just he's up there. He's great. Now talking about Koraidon. Koraidon, one of the newest legendary Pokemon. Orichalcum Pulse sets up Sun, gets stronger when Sun is active. Wolf Glick won with him. Is he a world champ twice? No. So Wolfie. No, Wolfie is not the world champ with this guy because Wolfie hasn't won worlds in a while. I forget exactly who won with him, but this guy's good. He gets a signature move, Collision Course, uh, which it's good to have variety in fighting type moves because you're usually always running close combat. However, Collision Course is always good because you deal a lot more damage on super effective hits, which you may say, Jack, that's not going to do much because you're basically killing things already. Um, the reason you'd run Collision Course is because it would do more damage if you're already intimidated. Like if you get an attack drop, and like it would one shot an Incineroar if you played your cards right. Close combat is just bigger damage in general. Collision Course is just like min maxing for certain matchups. People wouldn't really use its Dragon type. However, I did. I used Break and Swipe just for an extra stab option. I would use I would use a set like this. However, I'd replace one of these with like Protect. I did use like Clear Amulet, and I used Life Orb. Right after Wolf Glick used Life Orb, I was like, actually, yeah, that's pretty good. And also, everybody else did that because people just kind of look at what Wolfie does because Wolfie is kind of insane. But I mean, these stats are incredible. He's bulky, he's strong, he's fast, he sets up Sun. He's basically he's like comparing him to Groudon. Even though they share the same niche, it's different enough to where you would see these two on the same team. I used both of these two just to win the weather war against like Kyogre teams and like Pelipper or Celadon, etc. I used both of these just to make sure I would win the weather war, which that's a good case scenario. They're also two different typings, which helps the fact that they synergize really well. Other than that, Koraidon is just a really good Pokemon. I would say he's not as good as Callie, but Callie's, that's Callie. Crocodile, sad to say, unloaded Gen 5 Pokemon that's aged kind of poorly. Let's talk about the things Crocodile does good. Crocodile, Intimidate Mon, so really good. However, I don't remember if the set that it used to win Worlds was Moxie or Intimidate. I'm pretty sure it was Intimidate. And, I mean, Crocodile's good. Crocodile has won once, but I'm pretty sure that was the year where the only Pokemon allowed were Gen 5 Pokemon, so, I mean, you have limited options. You make what you can. You don't get Sucker, you get Crunch, you get Knockoff, yeah, you get Knockoff. So, like, Earthquake, Knockoff, next to, like, a Levitate Pokemon. I mean, nowadays you might use Hone Claws. Do you get Drill Run? No. Close Combat, Brick Break. You don't get Pursuit anymore. I would assume that's what the Dark type stab would be used for. It would be probably a Pursuit slot. What? Forgive me, I don't know too much about Crocodile, even though I like top 100 Pokemon for me, but like you don't see him because he doesn't really do much. You get Stealth Rock, you can do Manual Rock, but the only Pokemon that really does that well is Tinglu. So, I mean, you get Bulk Up. I mean, yeah, I think this is just one of those Pokemon. I mean, Helping Hand's good. Yeah, the fact that Gen 5 has like a bunch of like world champions is partially because of the fact that those world champions were kind of stuck with their Gen 5 friends. Speaking of another Gen 5 Pokemon, Landorus. Lando T has fallen out of favor. Lando I, because Lando T is competing for an Intimidate slot with um, Incineroar. Even though you can run two Intimidates, it's just kind of it's not that great. I would say the real reason Landorus Incarnate is better now is because Sandsear Storm's really strong, 20% chance to burn, 80 accuracy, cannot miss in rain. It really should be Sandstorm because that's a sandstorm that sears. I think that's just I think they had full intent on making it Sandstorm, but Game Freak can be kind of silly sometimes. Sheer Force Life Orb is always insane, especially going off of this special attack. For those of you that don't know, if you get Sheer Force, it's usually a better option to run special attacks because they usually have secondary effects. Sheer Force, if it has secondary effect, it's multiplied by 3, nullifies the effect though, and then Life Orb is somehow you somehow don't get the debuff that Life Orb gives you. Um, especially on rain teams, this Pokemon's insane. I would say that it's not. It's definitely not top 10. However, Lando, he is still very dangerous. Latios. I'm not familiar with Latios's with his motion, but I don't think he has that much motion. Soldew is a item that boosts their dragon and psychic types by 20%. I think they should buff this item and be like their entire special attack. I think it should just be a special attack buff, like how Marowak has Thick Club. But if it's not in a mega format, you're probably running Sundew or Soldew or Specs or Scarf. You're going to be dropping Draco Meteor. You're going to be dropping Luster Purge. Luster Purge got buffed to where now it's better than Psychic, which is, I think, one of the reasons it was holding it back before. I say holding it back, even though I put it in here because I mean, Psychic is a really, it's not a bad type. It's just levitating, and it gets you don't even get expanding force. It would be really funny if he got an expanding force, but he's levitate, so it wouldn't matter anyways. I would just think it was funny. You get recover. I mean, recover and roost is good. You get roar, which is niche. Shadow ball. Stored power if you really want to be that guy. Helping hands. Icy wind has seen usage. Uh, he's a Pokemon of his time. He has a really good special attack. He has really good defenses. He is fast. I do think his sister, though, would, if one of them were to win, I think the bulkier one would win. That's not even looking at their megas, which I'm pretty sure their megas are the exact same. They change a little bit. They become bulkier in some areas. I mean, Latios is always going to be the attacking, and Latios is the defending. But like, Dracos are going to hit really hard. I think Mega Latios will see usage. Will he win? Probably not. Well, maybe Luster Purge being. Okay, I've changed my mind. I'm putting you above Gyarados. For the sole reason of Mega Evolution being so good. Next up, Ludicolo, Rain teams. I don't really have to explain this too much. Swift Swim doubles your speed in rain. You get Fake Out. I saw people use Bullet Seed and like with loaded dice, uh, weakness policy with Scald and Muddy Water and Energy Ball, or if you want like Giga Drain. If you want to be disruptive, you have Encore, you have Leech Seed, you have you get Helping Hand. No, you don't get Helping Hand. I think you should get Helping Hand, in my opinion. Um, but like Encore, Leech Seed. I mean, if you want to run Toxic, you can, but that's more of a singles thing. Substitute has seen use. Rest, if you want to do Resto Chesto. I mean, this guy, he's not only a product from. I mean, it's a Hoenn Pokemon, so you'd expect him to be kind of bad due to the fact that most Hoenn Pokemon are bad, even though I have, the box legendaries at the top, but those are an exception. Um, like Ludicolo is a fantastic Pokemon, and Watergrass, good defensive typing, good offensive typing. Water's always good. I mean, at top tier, how many water Pokemon do we have? We have one, two, three, four. Okay, it's only four. I thought it was going to be more. Bars. Anyways, just the disruption alone. I mean, you don't even need Scald. People are running Muddy Water more than Scald lately, just because of the fact that it's A, spread, B, it gets more distribution than Scald, and C, stronger, and then D, accuracy can be really punishing. But like if I would personally avoid using Giga Drain. I would use Energy Ball just for the sake of he's I mean not that he's bulky, but he's not Iron Hands bulky type of deal. I'd run Weakness Policy or Focus Sash or Covert Cloak or something. The fact that he gets Fake Out alone is enough to put him in like enough to make him viable. But the fact he gets Swift Swim and Encore, and it's just a really good stat spread, or not a really good stat spread. He's just mainly just doing that. Um, but Swift Swim, Fake Out, Encore is enough to bump him up to here alone. If he gets a Mega Evolution in the future, then that makes this guy kind of bonkers because putting 100 stat points into any one of these stats except for maybe attack, even though people have been using like physical attacking with like loaded dice and stuff. Um, it, I mean, Ludicolo's always going to be good. Not as good as Gyarados or these other guys, but always going to be good. Lunala, Lunala has won twice. Um, I believe she has won on the same team with Koraidon, and I think she is on the same power level as Koraidon. However, I do think she's a little bit weaker. Lunala is a defensive backbone. Okay, this is a team with Lunala. Her shiny's also absolutely gorgeous. This is a team with Lunala. This is a more bulky set. I say bulky when there's 252 in special attack, but you know what I mean. Shadow Shield, it's a copy of Multiscale. The first attack that hits you is halved in damage, which is fantastic, especially if you have leftovers or some sort of recovery Pokemon that can help you, like Life Dew, or if you have a Cresselia near you, it'll help you a lot because then you get Shadow Shield back online. Uh, there's a couple main draws. A, Shadow Shield, allowing you to get up Trick Room relatively safely. B, Wide Guard, specifically against the evil horses. C, Expanding Force is always really good. However, I would go Necrozma Dawn Wings for that instead. You also get Meteor Beam, which has seen a lot of usage. It's a 2-turn move, powers up your special attack, and then on the next turn it hits, but with like Power Herb. Like, it's a 1-turn move. but then you're never clicking it again, so it's kind of like a trade-off. You use it once, and you know. Lunala will definitely win again. She has a niche. She has a placement, unlike her brother Sogaleo, um, which is just he's just Metagross. Speaking of Metagross, Metagross is definitely going to be up there. We'll talk about him now while we're on the topic. Uh, Let me just so you see Sogaleo, Metagross. These are pretty similar stats. However, I would say like Full Metal Body is just Clear Body. Prevents other Pokemon from lowering this Pokemon's stat changes, or from changing or lowering this Pokemon's stats. Prevents other Pokemon from lowering this Pokemon's stats. It's the same thing. Like, and then like what do you Sunsteel Strike? You get that, and then you get what Zen Headbutt. Do you get Psychic Fangs? You do. Okay. So you're gonna use this is the set you're gonna be running on Sogaleo. You get Trick Room? Yeah, you get the Trick Room. Nice. Okay. Uh, I mean, you'd think, oh yeah, not that bad. However, Steel and Psychic is well, it is a good type. It is weak to a lot of common things like fire, dark, and ground. Um, which not the best, but also like it's still a really good type, even though Psychic isn't like that great paired to Steel. You'd rather have like Bug or Grass or Water or just pure Steel. But the fact that these two Pokemon make this typing work is great. Well, I would say that, but Solgaleo is buns. The reason you always run Metagross over Solgaleo, and this is just base Metagross. We'll get to Mega Metagross in a second. You get Bullet Punch. You get Meteor Mash. So you already have two moves that are better than Sunsteel Strike. Weaker, yes. However, one has priority, and the other one is has a chance to raise your attack by 1. You in the past you would run Meteor Mash. Yeah, I've seen it. I've used it Meteor Mash. Um it's a good move. However, it's a gamble. A, because you have a 10% chance to miss, and B, because you have a 20% chance to raise the user's attack by 1. There's a better move. Heavy Slam. Heavy Slam is interesting. We haven't touched on it because there's no Pokemon that really uses it too much. Heatran does. However, Heatran does a lot more than that. So, I mean, Heatran can. It's not like you don't see it. You don't see it often, but it can be. It can be used. I mean, I'm not going to use it, but it can be. It's literally just a Flutter Mane counter. That's the only reason you run it. Metagross used to be worse because you only had Zen Headbutt, but then you got Psychic Fangs, which is just 5 points better, and also destroys screens, which is good. So you're anti Aurora Veil and anti Grimmsnarl. You also get Explosion, which Metagross has won twice, and I believe Metagross has won twice. Once in Black and White 2, and I believe it was like normal gym. Yeah, it was like normal gym explosion kind of thing. But the second time it won was with this guy. And just by the look of him, you already know he looks terrifying. So anyways, Tough Claws. All of your physical attacks get a boost. I'm pretty sure what is it? Yeah, it's a life orb, but for your physical attacks with no drawback. And by the way, if you thought Sogaleo's stats look good, even though I was saying Metagross was better, and you're like, hey, these are lower stats than Sogaleo, they just put the points, they just spread them evenly. Well, evenly enough. 10 to attack, 20. I mean, they even put, what they put? 10 into special attack when you're never going to use special attack. You have an ability that actually like makes you feel stupid for using special attack. but just like, dude, bullet punches are ripping through things. Heavy slam, ripping through things. Psychic fangs, ripping through things. You can still run explosion if you want to. However, that's like a waste of a mega. I would not recommend that at all. What else do you get? You get knockoff. You get I doubt you get power punch still. Pursuit's been removed. You get thunder punch. You can also just do protect. Like this set alone, I mean, you can't do much to Incineroar, but I think Heavy Slam's going to be doing a lot of damage to Incineroar anyways. Like Incineroar, people were using Gouging Fire, like in Sun, Terra Fire with Heat Crash, which is, the same thing as Heavy Slam, but just Fire type. Just Terra Fire, and it would like one-shot an Incineroar. But this thing is way better than Gouging Fire, and has Bullet Punch as well, so if the Incineroar doesn't live, you can just Bullet Punch, and it would probably pick up the KO. It also has an ability that just buffs all its moves anyways. Metagross is insane. Where'd I put him? Yeah, I would put him above Hands. I'd put him above Hands. Okay, now onto a sad note. Mamoswine has two abilities that are good. One ability that's gimmicky, which you never see a Snow Cloak because you don't really run this guy in snow. You either do Oblivious, so you are Intimidate immune, or you're Thick Fat, so you can now take neutral damage from fire type moves. And then you can actually resist ice as well. You do either one. I like doing Thick Fat, however, Oblivious is better, so I do that better, even though I like it. The only good I tried using Mamoswine. The only good set I could find was like Ice Shard, Crash, like EQ, or like was it EQ or was it High Horse? I think it was High Horsepower. Just because I didn't really want to worry about hitting my partner. And then I can't remember. I think I also remember. Okay, so never mind. I'm wrong. There's two sets you can use. Icicle Spear with Loaded Dice and Rock Blast. But no, you get no ground type move, or you could also just slap on High Horsepower instead of like Ice Shard or something. Um, Looking at his stats, they're not bad. They're usable. You slap an Assault Vest and it's usable. The issue lies in both his speed and his typing. Mamoswine is like I would say supposed to be used in snow. He will never be used in he won't never be used in snow, but he very unlikely to just because of you get Snow Cloak. If you got Slush Rush, oh my god, this guy would be amazing. But the fact that you don't get Slush Rush and you just get Snow Cloak, that's kind of a flaw. That's not really something you want. It's all Articuno used it in a couple tournaments and won one major one, but that thing was also just using all ice type moves, and it wasn't a gimmick, but it's also Articuno, and Articuno is both. It's just a different flavor. He has different utility. Physical attacking ice types have a harder time because they don't get access to Blizzard, or they do get access to Blizzard. They're just not that strong with Blizzard. It's just like you want to be either in Tail Room, yeah, you want to be in Tail Room or in Snow, and more of the time you want to be in Tail Room, and even then it's like, oh, you're not the best for Tailwind portion of Tail Room, and you're not the best for Trick Room portion of Tail Room because of your typing. Your typing is just bad. I won't don't get me wrong. It's a great offensive typing. It doesn't do anything defensively. That's the issue. Which terrestrialization was good. I ran Terra Water and Terra Fire. That helped, but I feel like this guy doesn't really do too much. So with that, I'll have to put him like maybe right above Bronzong. He's not bad by any means. He's just power creep, my man. Uh, Miraidon, better than Cresselia. I'm gonna keep this short with Miraidon. I say that and I'm going to ramble. So this guy is Koraidon, but better because you're not com- not better. Well, yeah, better, but instead of competing for a weather slot, you're now competing for a terrain, which I would say is a little more competitive because you get Indeedee with psychic terrain, you get Rillaboom with grassy terrain, and then you get the Tapus with their respective terrains. However, due to Quark Drive and stuff like that, so like Iron Hands gets a boost and everything gets a boost to their largest stat. It's a gimmick. Well, it's not a gimmick. It's a team comp that you can rely on. You also get Electro Drift, which is uh, insane. If you wouldn't have Electro Drift, you'd be running Thunderbolt, which would also just be doing crazy damage. But there's not really an electric type move that has this base power on a Pokemon that's actually good. So and it's not like Koraidon, because Koraidon has a fighting type move that gets boosted on super effective hit, and he gets boosted in the sun. Miraidon, however, gets boosted in electric terrain, and electric terrain boosts the damage of electric moves. This is an electric move. So you're getting a 30% boost on top of a 30% boost, and if it's super effective, it's another 30% boost. On top of an 135 attack stat with specs, and then you Dazzling Gleam, you Draco, you Volt Switch. I mean, this guy was so oppressive that it was like, okay, you kind of I don't want to say have to, but it would be a really good idea to either run Rillaboom or Indeedee just to like nerf this guy a little bit. So like if you were wanting to oppose, we'll talk about this guy later. But if you wanted to oppose Miraidon and kind of do like anti-Miraidon stuff, you'd run Rillaboom or you'd run Indeedee. But also kind of strange how Indeedee hasn't won Worlds yet. I just think he has so much stuff going on for especially the female version, because the female version gets Trick Room, which was a developmental oversight, and then Game Freak just decided, yeah, that's fine. I miss when Trick Room was honest, but that's a rant from for another day. Miraidon is just one of these Pokemon that is just Miraidon. She's just busted. You also get Power Gym. You get Overheat. People were using Discharge for a while. It was like Discharge strats, which is annoying. But like it would be like a Volt Absorb Pokemon, or it'd be like a Lightning Rod Pokemon. You know, I think Miraidon in Champions will. I mean, this is kind of cope. This is kind of hopium, but it'll make my boy good, my boy, because I have him this high up as potential winner. With Lightning Rod being able to redirect Volt Switch and Electro Drift and basically shutting them down while resisting like a Terra Fairy Dazzling Gleam. The only thing really you have to worry about is Draco, which I mean fair enough. Your HP and your special defense isn't the highest, but it's good. But anyways, Miraidon is incredibly good. I would say it's better than Cressy and Heatran. Not as good as Moongus. Also, electric terrain is great because it prevents Pokemon from sleeping. Because like energy drink. That's like the whole. I think that's what they're getting at there. Because like you're energized. You're electric. You are vital. You have a vital spirit. Ogerpon. Ogerpon. It's a matter of time. Ogerpon has four different forms. Specifically, the one that won is Ogerpon Hearth. Ogerpon is a fun gimmick where it can't choose its Terra type. It chooses its Terra type based on its mask, and then its ability changes and then it gets a boost. Ogerpon, I think it was the set with Ivy Cudgel and Grassy Glide next to Rillaboom. I could be wrong. You get Follow Me, you get Spiky Shield. It's a really good Pokemon. Redirection is always great. However, the fact that you're a grass type with Follow Me means that you can redirect spores into yourself, and due to the fact that you're grass type, you are immune to spore because grass types are immune to powder moves, which is fantastic. Not even that, not even just Hearth Flame. Um, Ogerpon Wellspring will definitely win at some point. It's supposed to be the more bulkier one, and like I said earlier, water types are great. Another strength of Ogerpon is that signature move, Ivy Cudgel. Depending on which mask it has on, it changes types. So Ivy Cudgel will turn into a water type with Wellspring, and it's a fire type move with Hearth Flame. It's also for some reason they gave it a high critical ratio. That's kind of unnecessary in my opinion, but they did it anyways. Uh, Ogerpon Wellspring is good because Follow Me, especially with Urshifu, like I talked about later, uh, you redirect Surging Strikes into yourself, and then with Water Absorb, you heal. And then the other one, Ogerpon regular isn't as good because, the masks give a 20% power boost to all attacks. You don't get, I mean, you can run Life Orb, so you get like a 30% boost instead of 20, but you don't have very strong stab options. You have Ivy Cudgel, which is only normal type. Then you have whatever else you want. And then the last form of Ogerpon is Cornerstone, which did win a regional, I believe. It has Sturdy. I would say this is the worst ability out of the four of them, uh, in my opinion at least. But like I said, Ivy Cudgel is really strong, and the weakness of a lot of weaknesses of rock types is that they don't have, well, specifically physically attacking rock types, is that they don't have an accurate rock type move. This is a 100% accuracy rock type move. It's great. It won a tournament. I forget which set, but Sturdy. You can also regenerate yourself and put Sturdy back online by just regenning your damage. Like I said, you also get Follow Me, so you take a hit and it's supposed to kill you. You live on Sturdy, and then you retaliate next turn with Horn Leech. Um, and then Spiky Shield's always good. All right, next Pachirisu. Pachirisu won because it was somebody's favorite Pokemon. I do not think Pachirisu will ever win again. And that's not just saying, oh, I don't like the cute squirrel. The cute squirrel is a cute squirrel. I like the cute squirrel. Um, I'm just saying that power creep kinda like it's bad. The fact that Patchy won during Mega Evolutions and that whole thing is really great. And it's a hero story. He's really frail, but that doesn't really matter because he had Follow Me, and the Follow Me users at that time, I mean, they weren't the best. Uh, and the guy who won using it, I mean, this was his favorite Pokemon. So the fact that he has Follow Me, Encore, Nuzzle, Protect, I think this was the actual set he used. I don't I don't know the stats, but this is what he used. He held on with Citrus Berry. He would redirect strong electric type attacks into himself to heal. He would disrupt with Encore Nuzzle, uh, and then also redirect with Follow Me. I mean, at the time, great. I mean, you see Pokemon get played just for the fact they have Follow Me. However, I think Pachirisu, I do not think she will win Worlds ever again just for the sake of power creep. And I mean, it's plausible. It's plausible. I mean, Unk status isn't like, oh, you're never gonna win again. It's like it's probably won't, but on like it's just like it's like probably won't, but also like probably never. Which I don't want to say Patrice bad. And just for the sake of, like, Patrice being Patrice, I'll put him at the top. Okay, Raichu will win again. And I will put Raichu above Gastrodon. Let's talk about Raichu normal. Raichu is particularly used as a electric type redirector in or electric type. Basically, it's what Pachirisu was without Follow Me, with better stats, and basically only used in rain teams. Wolf Glick won during, I believe, yeah, it was his 2016 Worlds. It was 2016 Worlds. He won with Raichu during 2016 Worlds with a very specific set. It was something like this. I think it was Volt Switch and Protect, but he would fake out, and due to the fact that Raichu has low HP, you'd Endeavor, like, and then these Pokemon with huge HP stats would drop down to the same HP stat, and it'll make it easier to KO them. Volt Switch for pivoting, Fake Out, because that's Fake Out. But typically nowadays it's used similarly. But you usually use like Electro Web now. However, now we have the issue later. Also, it does not get Surge Surfer. We do not know the abilities for these guys. We have the issue of these guys have Raichu getting a Mega. We don't have. I don't know why Showdown doesn't have an image for them, but they got a Mega recently, and this one's bonkers. This one's insane. I have a feeling this one's gonna get either Transistor or Electric Terrain, like Electric Surge, or something crazy, because this attack's stat is crazy. Raichu, I mean, you usually see it normally as a supportive Pokemon, disrupting with paralysis and speed drops from Electro Web and Fake Out and Endeavor. However, in this case scenario, however, in this case scenario, you're running offensive sets, and it shows where Raichu shines offensively. Now, Pikachu and Raichu get a lot of weird moves because they're the mascots. Of course, you get Thunderbolt. You get Thunderbolts. Uh, I'm talking about special attacks right now. We'll get to the physical sided one in a second. But you get Thunderbolt, you get Surf, you get Alluring Voice, you get Draining Kiss, Signal Beam. I don't think you get Signal Beam anymore. You get Volt Switch. So it's just these alone are good. Like I can just see a team using like Surfing Raichu next to a Gastrodon to boost like special attack, like a really bulky Gastrodon to boost special attack, and also spreading Yawn, while also putting like Thunderbolt pressure and Surf pressure and Volt Switch pressure. And then Alluring Voice for coverage, and also just punishing setup sweepers. And the fact that this guy is so fast and so strong, especially, is what I think is going to make Raichu really good. I feel like Raichu X is flavor. It does have an ability in Legends ZA that makes its Volt Tackle boost its physical attack. Unsure why. It's probably something to do with the ability that it's going to get. But this is basically better Wild Charge. And it's better Wild Charge, and it should be distributed to other electric types. But it's not for some reason. This time around, instead of it being very min-maxed, it's very... It's kind... I don't want to say bad, but it's like it's not as impressive. Like, this attack stat is great, the defenses are good, this HP stat is a hindrance, but it's not the worst. Speed is great. Um, the issue comes in physically. Volt Tackle is going to be its best um electric type attack. I don't think this guy gets extreme speed. I would personally run Fake Out on this one. Play Rough, maybe, but that's in the 90 accuracy hell. Knock off Iron Tail. Iron Tail is 75% accuracy. You're not using that. Knock off, maybe. I mean, I don't know what kind of set you'd run on this guy other than just like using Volt Tackle. But anyways, Raichu will definitely win again, especially because it has new megas, which definitely in its favor. Another Pokemon that Wolfglick won with is Mega Rayquaza, or Rayquaza, Mega Rayquaza specifically. It shut Mega Rayquaza. Rayquaza's been one of those Pokemon that just is really good. However, in VGC, it kind of struggles. It gets extreme speed, it gets Dragon Ascent, it gets Breaking Swipe, Sword Stance. You'd run a set similar to this. I typically forego Breaking Swipe on Rayquaza though, and just like Terra normal extreme speed things with like Clear Amulet to block Intimidate. But, like it can also run special attacking. So if you want like Draco Meteor or you would not run Hurricane because you can't use this guy in weather, like Air Slash maybe. But due to the fact like you get no good special attacking moves except for Hurricane, uh, you definitely run physical and run Dragon Ascent. However, you can run mixed attackers, a mixed attacking set, which you know, due to the fact that it's Rayquaza, you can kind of get away with it. Um, I personally wouldn't. I think mixed attacking sets are very niche and not really worth it most of the time, but you know, whatever floats your boat. Uh, real reason why Rayquaza won is this guy. This guy is stronger than Arceus. I mean, it's like a direct upgrade to all of its stats, which were already good in the first place. But you get Dragon Ascent, and this is where you'd see Draco Meteor. You would see people using Dragon Ascent and Draco Meteor on this guy, even though if one of his stats had a negative nature, it wouldn't really do too much. Uh, Dragon Claw, maybe if you're going physical. I wouldn't really run Dragon Claw, a Dragon type stab on Pokemon without like Draco Meteor or something, or like Glaive Rush on Baxcalibur is good, but that's Baxcalibur. It's not that it's not as strong as you'd want it to be. Maybe like U-turn is good. You also get Swords Dance. You get Swords Dance, so you can do Swords Dance. You get extreme speed. You get V Create. What? Wow. That lower speed though, I would not use that. However, it is strong, but that lower speed. I don't think you get this anymore though. I think I don't know why you get V Create. I don't know what game that was in, but and the fact that you don't need a Megastone is what makes this crazy. So you could do Life Orb. Like this would be perfect. This would be great. However, it's a restricted A, and B, people are gonna know that you're gonna want to run this, so they're gonna run like a random Ice type move on a random Pokemon. So like Ice Beam coverage. It won't melt you, but it's gonna do like half your HP because you're times 4 weak. Also, Rock type moves, like Rock type coverage. Hisuian Arcanine is gonna be annoying for this guy with Rock Slide, but you can't hit it with super effective unless you can't hit it with super effective at all. So I assume like bulky Hisuian Arcanine is going to be trouble for this guy. I say trouble as if I'm not looking at these stats and say that a Dragon Ascent resisted Dragon Ascent from a like 252 Adamant Nature Rayquaza isn't going to probably one shot an Arcanine or like a Hisuian Arcanine, but you know. Rayquaza is great. Do I think it's above these guys? No, these guys have just way more utility and more options. The fact that you can Mega Evolve without an item is great. It makes Rayquaza do something unique that nothing else can, and that's what's important in a Pokemon because you want a Pokemon with a niche that nothing else has. Like a grassy terrain setter that's actually good. Um, this guy, I would put him up here. So these three are fire, water, grass core. So in most VGC teams, I don't want to say most because like for people that are aware, most a lot of teams go Incineroar, Urshifu, and Rillaboom for the water, fire, grass core. It's common. It's effective. Water, fire, grass cores have always and always will be strong. Rillaboom, I've mentioned him a couple times already. He's a pure grass type, which isn't that good in all fairness, but he makes it work. Grassy Surge summons grassy terrain. Before he got Grassy Glide, he was already being used for grassy terrain. However, to Dynamax, you could just use a grass type coverage move and set this thing up, set grassy terrain up anyways. So you didn't really need it. The reason he was used is because he was Grassy Surge with Fake Out, and that was a good enough reason to use him some of the time. However, much like Incineroar, he got access to a very good utility that made him busted, that being Grassy Glide. And if you're not sure what made Incineroar busted, it was the fact that he got Intimidate. Everything else was just like icing on the cake. But Grassy Glide with Wood Hammer, you get high horsepower, you get knockoff, you get U-turn for pivot, or you get Uproar. I didn't know that, but you're never using it because it's special attack. You get U-turn for pivoting. You get drum beating. People were using drum beating. I think it got Woodhammer Gen 9, so people were using drum beating a lot more just to get speed drops. It's low kick. I mean, Terra Blast. You're not going to see it use Terra Blast because you'd rather use actual stuff that you have, but Hammer Arm, I could see it. You use it in Hammer Arm and Trick Room. I could see it happening. Will it be good? Probably not. Body Press, maybe. But you'd usually run a set like this. Not that, but like typically like this, like a bulky and strong. They actually nerfed Grassy Glide. It used to be like 70 base power, and now I mean, you set up grassy terrain. You have the boost from grassy terrain on grass type attacks, which is like a 33% boost. You have a priority move that's getting boosted from grassy terrain. That's also getting boosted from stab. So this priority move's killing things. It can I've seen this one shot Fluttermane a couple times, which is why people would, I mentioned earlier they would spec into their physical stats. Rillaboom was one of the reasons for that, but also heavy slam and stuff. Rillaboom, dude, fantastic Pokemon. It will all, as long as it has access to Grassy Glide, Fake Out, and Grassy Surge, it will never be bad. And that's why he's up here. I don't think he's as good as these two. However, it's literally like if somebody did like this, I wouldn't be mad. If somebody did like this, I wouldn't be mad either. This is what I'm doing. I would say they're all equal. It's just like how do you what's your opinion on these Pokemon? Because I think Incineroar, Intimidate, Fake Out, uh, it no longer has knockoff, which is sad. But like Will-O-Wisp, Taunt, Parting Shot, U-Turn, Flare Blitzed, Darkest Lariat, Throat Chop, etc., will always make it better than everything else here, except for these two. Okay, this is a Pokemon. Rotom is fun. It's a grass. Not oh my god, grass type. It's an electric type with Levitate. which always good, right? You don't have a ground weakness, but you get the benefits of being an electric type. Beat that being electric stab, which is always strong. However, you don't get the boosts from like electric terrain, which is sad. But you know, Rotom, especially Rotom Wash, is not an electric terrain Pokemon. It is a bulky. I say bulky when it has 50 frickin' attack, 50 frickin' HP. I say bulky. I mean like defenses wise. It is. If you can't tell, this is a low power uh format Pokemon. You could also say this with these guys. These guys are also low power format Pokemon. However, usually there's better Pokemon in low power formats. Like, I don't know. Thunderbolt, Hydro Pump. I've seen people run Discharge. I ran Assault Vest. You don't have to. You can run Foul Play, Volt Switch. I ran something like this, except no Foul Play, and I ran Terra Blast with Terra Fire, which is a choice. Leftovers is also good. It's a good low power Pokemon, but I think I'd have to get it above Mamoswine but below Hydreigon. I mean, it's still a good Pokemon. If you don't want to go an offensive set, you get Will-O-Wisp. I mean, you get Hex, which pairs well with Will-O-Wisp. You get Trick, so you can use like Scarf, like Scarf, Trick, Thunderbolt, Hydro Pump, Shadow Ball, etc. Only thing really holding him back from being a really good low power format Pokemon is that he gets Hydro Pump. Hydro Pump is high power, but 20% chance to not hit, which is, not great. But yeah, it's just one of those Pokemon that is good, it's just like not good enough. Let's talk about the dragon. Salamence falls in the same boat as Metagross. They both have mega forms that are significantly helping their argument. However, Salamence is unlike any other mega. It is better than Mega Rayquaza, even though it has to have an item. Regular Salamence, access to Intimidate, already makes it great. Having access to Moxie is also great just for flavor. If you already have an Intimidate Mon, or if you don't want another Intimidate Mon, then yeah, you can run Moxie. But I personally, in my opinion, I'd run Intimidate instead. There's two sets you can run. You can run like a D-Dance set maybe with like Dragon Claw and dual Wing Beat. However, due to the fact these being relatively low power and you kind of rely on D-Dance, I used this set in I used this set in Regulation B, I believe. It was either that or Regulation D. Regulation B or D, I used a Sharp Beak set with that looked like this. It was okay. It wasn't the best, but it did the job. Or you can do a like special attacking Rain Room team, or not Rain Room, like Rain team, where you'd like use really powerful hurricanes coming off of a 110 special attack. It's not as good as your regular attack, but your regular attack isn't also not that. I mean, you don't have good regular attacks, unfortunately. However, that's kind of where Salamence ends, and Salamence kind of falls off into obscurity after that. Just kidding. Mega Salamence is absolutely insane. One of the most broken Pokemon of all time. Uh, these stats are deceiving because they look good. They're better. I promise. Let's bring up Mega Rayquaza's stats. So these look good, right? These are, I would argue, better. I mean, obviously they're not better, They just work a lot more with Salamence than they do Rayquaza. You always run Intimidate with Mega Salamence, never Moxie, because of the fact that you can delay Mega and get an Intimidate off whenever you want. After Mega Evolution, you have something to worry about, though. You have Aerialate. What does Aerialate do? Aerialate turns all normal type moves into flying type moves. That's already really great because you have a terrible flying type distribution in your move pool. You get dual Wing Beat and Aerial Ace and then Fly. Those are terrible physical moves to be running on a physical attacking flying type. You'd rather have Brave Bird if you're physical attacking, but you don't because you're not a bird because you're a dragon. So what do you do? You run like normal type attacks. So you get Double Edge, you get Body Slam. You used to get Return, but Return got eliminated from the game. Um, People used Hyper Voice because even though its special attack, again, not as big as its regular attack, it's still decent. Here's the thing. Aerialate also boosts the power of these moves that are changed from normal type to flying type by 20%. So, let me just pull up a calculator right here. You have a 90 base power special attack, right? Times 1.2. That is now a 108 base power. 108 base power spread flying type attack. Let's take a stronger move, something that you're going to be doing a lot more damage with Double Edge. That's 120 base power times 1.2. Put it in your calculator, guys. Guess what it equals to? It's a 144 base power flying type move. That is stronger than Brave Bird. However, if you don't like recoil, because with that strong of an attack, you will take a lot of recoil from what you're doing, you do Body Slam. Not as strong, but still viable. 85 times 1.2, that is 102 physical attack. That is 102 base power attack with a 30% chance to paralyze. Yes, it would be great if this guy had Return. However, he doesn't, which is sad. Which Return, I believe, capped out at 105. So if he had Return previously, okay, so no, yeah, 102, 102 max power. So 102 times 1.2. That's Brave Bird. That's Brave Bird with no, yeah, that's 122 base power without recoil. So it's just Brave Bird, but 2 power points higher without recoil. It's just a straight upgrade. Mega Salamence is absolutely insane. It was part of Big Six. I think it was part of Chalk too, which is another really powerful team. I could be wrong on Chalk though. I'm probably wrong on that. It was part of Big Six. Absolutely insane Pokemon. Salamence is a generational Pokemon. That's why he's up here. As soon as Mega Salamence is in the game with these three, you're going to have a team of these four. I would argue that Kartana could also be put on this team, but he would be competing with a slot for Rillaboom with the grass type, and then he'd be have 2 Pokemon weak to fire, but that wouldn't really matter because you'd have Salamence, Urshifu, and Incin, which all resist, and also Urshifu does super effective damage, but doesn't really matter. Scary to think about, though. Next up, Snorlax. Due to Z moves being in the future, I'm going to place him higher than Ludi for a couple reasons. They had to nerf Pinch Berries because of this guy. So you'd run a Pinch Berry, which used to regenerate. We'll get to the Z move portion in a second. This is like one of the only Pokemon who I will be talking about Z moves with because a lot of them they benefit from everything else. Snorlax really likes Z moves. Anyways, Gluttony makes you able to eat a Pokemon eat a Pokemon. Oh my gosh. Allows you to eat a berry at 50% HP all of the time. If you're 50% HP or below, you always eat the berry. Aguav, or pinch berries in general, a lot of them, or their main purpose was to heal you by 50%, but only when you were 25% or lower. Citrus berry, it restores 25% when you're at half. So when you're at half HP, it brings you back to 75. And the idea was when you're at 25% HP, it brings you back to 75. So instead of healing 25, Citrus berry would heal 25% when you're at 50% or less. The pinch berries would heal 50% when you're 25% or less, which, they both equal 75% HP. However, they obviously didn't account for gluttony, which means 50% HP or less, they eat the berry, and then they eat the pinch berry, which heals them up to heals 50% of their HP. So now they're at 100% again. Typically, this would just be seen as, oh my gosh, that's really nice. That allows you to be really bulky. And well, yeah, I mean, Snorlax is not lacking in bulk except for physical, but you can just do that. Um, and you have two other great immunities, or two other great abilities. I mean, one questionable, but one other great one. But you just use this one because you'd have great bulk. I would say that's the only thing, but that's not the only thing. You also get Belly Drum. For those of you that don't know, Belly Drum, it maximizes your attack by 6 stages. So the damage you do is basically multiplied by 6. I believe that's how that works. I could be wrong. I don't think I am, but I could be wrong. I'm a little hungry, so if I forget something, my bad. Maximizes attack by 6 stages. This is crazy things. Use Azumarill. If you've played during Scarlet and Violet, Azumarill with huge power used Belly Drum a lot, and it would use Citrus Berry to just regenerate and get back up to 25%. Or not 25%, get back up to 75%. And, I mean, even though low attack, you get huge power, you double it, and then with that doubled, you get +6, it would do crazy damage. This is like a Azumarill, but in my opinion, better because you're pure normal. So you have one weakness, you're one immunity, and a lot of things you do neutral into. However, let's say you have a Fake Out Mon next to you positioned. You fake out something, allowing your Snorlax to get a free Belly Drum off. You drop to 50% HP at maximum. You drop to 50% HP immediately. Gluttony says, hey, you're at 50%, eat your berry. Then Pinch Berry says, okay, I regenerate you 50%. 50% plus 50% is 100%. So you're now at full HP with +6 attack at the cost of losing your berry. That's broken. Which is why pinch berries have been nerfed to only heal 30% HP instead of 50. Is this still good? Yes. Is it not as good? Oh yeah, it's not. It's really not as good. That's one thing Snorlax could do. I'm saying all these things about Snorlax, about how I'm saying how it was broken. Snorlax didn't really get nerfed. Pinch berries did because Snorlax is relatively balanced. Another set was Pulverizing Pancake, which, running Giga Impact usually isn't something you want to do. Pulverizing Pancake, reading it. So there's two things. There's only one flaw with it, is that it makes contact. That's barely a flaw. The only thing you get affected by is like Effect Spore, Flame Body, Gooey, something like that. It is not affected by Protect due to the fact that it is a Z move and they go through Protect. However, they take instead it's like the damage is quartered. And, it's not that bad, right? It goes through protect. Did I mention it's 210 base power? So this is basically an explosion. It's literally self-destruct. Oh, yeah, it's self-destruct, but you don't faint, and it's also 10 base power higher. So you'd run like Giga Impacts Snorlinium Z and run Pulverizing Pancake, 210 base attack, hit something really hard, maybe kill it, like, and then maybe you'd run like Crunch or High Horsepower, and then maybe Belly Drum, or maybe you'd run like Rest, and then like Sleep Talk, or probably Body Slam or Facade, probably Facade. And this would be your set, and then you'd be great because you would like kill something. I don't know. I mean, Snorlax is good, but it's not that good because you have to run Giga Impact and like Pinch Berries removed. It, Snornium Z will boost this guy up in usage, but like if it's a format without Z moves, which I'm assuming we're gonna have a lot because Z moves weren't like they're not a big focus other than like megas, especially nowadays, because nowadays we're getting a lot of mega content, which is phenomenal. Stack Attacka. Um, I'm gonna put this higher than Gardevoir. Let's. What Stack Attacka does is really interesting. However, in Champions, since we probably don't have IVs, it will not be as good. So what Stack Attacka did to win World Championships is it made itself weaker with the use of IVs. It was a defense lowering nature with 17 IVs, and it was a this optimization that allowed Stack Attacka to get a boost in its attack stat because its defense stat is so high that you typically get a defense boost. However, nowadays with body press, I don't think this would be an issue because body press is kind of insane, especially with beast boost boosting your defense every time you kill something. So I think that Stack Attack has could probably win. Uh, but the way it won prior was by boosting its physical attack by lowering its defense. They're equal. For some reason, beast boost takes priority over attacking stats, which is nice. But due to champions probably not having a way to alter or modify IVs in any way, they either seem to be A, at maximum, or B, the lowest, which I'm pretty sure they're maxed out, which would make sense to me. But you can't run that set, which I think hinders Stack Attack a little bit. However, you know, you could also just do something stupid like this and just be a Trick Room monster. Damn near 300 defense. Body Press is going to be using that for its damage calculation. You underspeed like basically everything in Trick Room except for like Shuckle, but you never see what. Yeah, Shuckle's like if you're running into Shuckle, then like oh no, what am I going to do? I'm just gonna body press you and you die because you have 20 HP. But nobody's running Shuckle anyway, so it doesn't matter. I think we'd put no Parrot Shadow Trap's too good. That's where I'm putting Stack Attack. Talonflame, very top of potential win. Talonflame, very simple Pokemon, very short explanation. Gale Wings is its signature ability. However, I think it should be given to Mega, like one other Mega. Uh, I don't have a Mega in mind. I just think it should be given out somehow. Its main thing is to be a Tailwind setter and then priority Brave Bird. Nowadays, you usually give it Covert Cloak, you give it like Will-O-Wisp, and Protects, and like in Terra, you'd usually Terra Grass. And then you do like something like this. So what Gale Wings does is when you're at full HP, you have your priority increased by 1, but for flying types. This wasn't always the case. It used to just be flying type moves always +1 priority. So Brave Bird was priority move, which was really strong. But off of this attack stat, not that bad, but also like that's a 120 base power priority move that's gonna hurt like a truck. But that wasn't the main reason. Main reason was for priority Tailwind, which for every Pokemon ever, like Whimsicott, we're gonna get to in a second. Prankster Tailwind. We're also gonna get to Tornadus in a second. Prankster Tailwind. These 3 Pokemon, because they have priority Tailwind, it just means that they're viable straight up. They fit onto nearly any team that needs speed control. As like Whimsicott, in my opinion, is the best at it because Encore, Taunt. You also get Trick Room, which you're not really using Whims for Trick Room because Trick Room you want more bulky Pokemon. But Talonflame, great Pokemon. I'm gonna put it at the top of potential win for the fact that there are better Pokemon, which we're going to get to soon. Tapu Fini and Tapu Koko, we'll get to. I'll talk about now. Tapu Fini and Tapu Koko, I'm putting above Amoonguss. So in short, these guys are the original terrain setters. They had it was a quartet. However, these 2 were the best. Tapu Lele was also good, but she's a psi spam, but which is like it's a good archetype. It's strong, yeah, but I mean dark types and steel types kind of just wall it. So I mean use it at your own discretion. Tapu Koko was indirectly buffed this generation with the introduction of Quark Drive future Paradox Pokemon. Meaning that like next to Tapu Koko, bundle is gonna go crazy because you get Speed Booster bundle with like Sash. It doesn't have to be next to Miraidon. It's not restricted to having that as a partner or having a booster energy or anything. It can just fire off Freeze Dries, Icy Wind, like Hydro Pump. I feel like I want it to get Scald in Muddy Water, but it's not going to. It's going to be crazy. Tapu Koko is going to be viable itself. Even the thing is about Tapu Koko, its attack stats aren't that great. I mean, 115 attack is great, but like physical fairy and physical electric is kind of sucky. So you're going to use Thunderbolt, Dazzling Gleam, maybe Nature's Madness. What other? You get Grass Knot, you get Stored Power, Volt Switch. Yeah, so like Volt Switch, you can run a Scarf set. I feel like this would be very good. You could also run Specs, but going off of this, I feel like Specs would be better used elsewhere. Unless, again, if you don't have a Spexmon in your team, or you don't have a Pokemon that needs Specs, put it on him. It's fine. I would say the only thing that's keeping him from like these 3 is that Rillaboom has grassy terrain, which competing for terrain during a competition is hard, especially when your opponent is Rillaboom. So it's kind of hard. Tapu Koko is kind of nerfed in that sense, but also kind of buffed with the addition of Quark Drive Pokemon. Not like Iron Hands and Treads. Iron Treads would be good. Bundle I already mentioned. Jugulus would not be good. Iron Valiant would be good. But that's Tapu Koko. Tapu Fini is my personal. I'm looking forward to this guy or this girl, even though genderless. It's like that's a gal. Even though this is the Pokemon I am most looking forward to using, due to the fact that it is such an equalizer. So Misty Terrain is unanimously agreed the worst terrain. What Misty Terrain does, it does not boost the power of Fairy type moves, which thank God, that would be insane. Instead, it weakens the power of dragon type moves. So, like Draco Meteor is going to be hitting, instead of like 130, it's going to be hitting, what is that? Like 165 base power. Which, that's crippling for a lot of things, but, you're also using Dragon to Fairy so that you're going to take no damage anyways, but so it's just going to help your team, I guess. Let's look at what you get. You get Scald, beautiful move. Do you get Muddy Water? You do get Muddy Water. So the set I'll probably use is Muddy Water, like Moonblast, Nature's Madness, just to handle like Steel types or something that I can't really hit. You get Icy Wind. Oh, that's not the one I wanted. Icy Wind. You do get Icy Wind. Like this is the Pokemon I'm most looking forward to. That's not even talking about Tapunium Z. Tapunium Z is works with Nature's Madness. It's just like it's a set damage move. It's basically like uh it halves their HP. It's Super Fang, but fairy type. So, but it does it anyways, and it's also like less accurate. So like Ruination, yeah, Ruination is better, but you don't get Ruination because you're not part of that team. You don't run this. You run like Citrus Berry, something bulky. This is the bulky one, and she is Water Fairy, fantastic type. We've seen this type in Primarina. Primarina is really good. I think Primarina is like due for a World's win at this point. She's just incredible. With like Throat Spray, Liquid Voice, stuff like that. Tapu Fini is going to be not busted, but a godsend for the Pokemon competitive VGC community because she is going to be like an equalizing force. She is going to be able to equalize these guys, except for Boom, which that's fine because like just having the ability to counter Incin, counter Urshifu, counter Salamence, work well with Kyogre, work well with Groudon, just having synergy with them is going to have great benefits for the community. And having, being able to counter everything I said it will be able to counter, it's going to be great because these are top meta threats. These are world champions that have won multiple times in a row. Incineroar, 3-time winner. Salamence, 3-time winner. 2-time winner. 2-time winner. 2-time winner and 3-time winner? No, they're both two-time winners. My bad. But they're going to work really well. On top of the fact that Misty Terrain not only, lowers dragon type moves by 50%, it blocks all status conditions. So it's either that or status moves. I'm pretty sure it's conditions. Don't quote me on that. So like you can't get paralyzed. That's going to be really nice because Fluttermane was running around with Thunder Wave and it was paralyzing everything and it was so annoying. I used it myself. I felt like a terrorist. I'm sorry, guys. Misty Terrain is going to be very nice. Terrakion, no. It's like Terrakion, all it does now is it is a beat up merchant. You pair it with Tandemaus. Nope. Pair it with Mousehold. Put beat up. You side attack him, you get beat up, and then you get like you're not fast enough to be a threat, so like you'd be Rock Polish or you'd be probably Scarf. You'd be EQ, Rock Slide, Sacred Sword, and you get U-turn. You don't get U-turn. I don't know, Quick Attack. I don't know. What do you do with this guy anymore? He's like 50 years old. He won back in like 2012, 2013, 2011, somewhere around there. I don't remember because he's not really important. I would say he's better than Dialga, but it's like these guys down here, they're kind of interchangeable except for Pachirisu because she gets follow me, and that's insane. But Terrakion, it sucks. I mean, like, rock fighting, you're weak to like everything in the book. Like flying type moves are neutral into you. That's not great. Fairy type moves hit you really hard. Psychic type moves hit you hard. Steel type moves hit you hard. Um, you can't survive an earthquake. You can't survive water or grass coverage. You can't survive like so many like things that are so important. The only thing you do is mouse hold uses beat up into you, and then you get justified boosts. I would, in my opinion, this ability kind of sucks. Uh, it, I, I don't know. It just kind of sucks. I don't want the Tracheon makes me sad. Um, Next up, Thunderous. Thunderous is definitely. Uh, I don't think it's definitive. I'm gonna put Thunderous here. That might be controversial. That might be a stretch. But Thunderous has been seeing play a little recently, especially its Therian form. Because its Therian form is just a counter to Raging Bolt entirely. Which Raging Bolt will soon be on this list, I guarantee you. But Thunderous kind of just is Eerie Impulse with Thunder Wave, and then they buffed it. They gave it Wild Bolt Storm, a fantastic electric type move, 20% chance to paralyze full foes. You give it Rain Dance, you give it Protect. It's great. It hits hard. It's it's a good Pokemon. However, this Pokemon has caused so many nerfs. Paralysis got a nerf. Uh, Prankster got nerfed, so where it can't be used on Dark types anymore. This is the Pokemon that has caused so many nerfs that has directly this Pokemon has directly affected the game in ways that no one can ever like. This Pokemon has both A was a demon and deserved to be crucified, and B was a savior and allowed Pokemon to be rebalanced in a way that benefited the game a lot. Someone that will win again, though. Lower than Lando. I'll put Tornadus lower than Lando. Tornadus is part of the trio of Cloud men, but it is, in my opinion, the second best one. Also, Enamorus is not considered at all because Enamorus kind of is buns and was shoehorned in Gen 8. Anyways, Tornadus, Tailwind, Prankster Tailwind. I mentioned it earlier. It's good. It also gets Bleakwind Storm. Bleakwind Storm is a great, like I also mentioned earlier that special flying type moves are hard to come by except for Hurricane. This is a not a multi-hit. This is a spread move that cannot miss in rain. That's 100 base power. That has chance to lower speed. This is very good. You'll see Rain Dance. You get Taunt. You get multiple things. You also run Covert Cloak. Beautiful. Like this Pokemon is really good. There's, you can run bulky. You can run offensive. I saw like a really evil set once. It was scary, dude. It was an acrobatics with was it? I think it was it was Psychic Seed. Yeah, it was Defiant Psychic Seed acrobatics with I don't remember, but it wasn't. It wasn't that good, but it was also like not the worst because acrobatics coming off of this attack stat is it's okay. Is it viable? Maybe not, but it's okay. Toxicroak will never win ever again. I don't know. I think this was Gen 4. Also, to correct my mistake from earlier, Dialga is one in Gen 4 VGC. I think the first Worlds. But anyways, Toxicroak will never win again. This is a product of its time. Dry Skin is its best ability. Poison Touch is right next to there, but having the ability to be immune to water is great, but the ability to be weak to fire is not so great. What does this guy do nowadays? He gets fake out, which is always good. He's close combat, gunk shot, poison jab. He gets uh low kick, super fang, sucker punch. What kind of status moves? We get encore, baton pass, bulk up, protect. Protect is a given. You get taunts, you get helping hand, you get quick guard. Quick guard's good. It's okay, but Toxicroak will never ever win again. And I mean, the rest of these guys, maybe Dialga Origin, maybe someone at a low power tournament uses Empoleon and they place really well, and maybe they even win. Maybe Terrakion actually does something. Maybe Crocodile, maybe there's a really niche spot for an Intimidate user that's a ground type and a dark type, or it has a niche different from Lando T and different from Incineroar. Like maybe you want Lando T and Incineroar combined. That's kind of Crocodile. You'd think that's good, but usually that's just kind of underpowered because Crocodile doesn't have the stats to back it up and doesn't have the move pool to back it up. But maybe there's a niche for it and maybe it'll win. Toxicroak has had its job stolen. It walked into McDonald's one day, say, "Hey, I gotta start working. I put the fries in the bag." And then he saw Sneasler, his coworker buddy. He took the position of manager. I was like, "Hey, man, we've been friends for a long time." He's like, "Yeah, I can't believe you got the promotion. Are you gonna promote me? Are you gonna give me a raise?" And I was like, "Actually, no. The only reason I was nice to you was because we were the same type. We had both had fake out, both had close combat, both had gunk shot. We both were poison fighting types. We both had poison touch, man. But secretly this whole time I hate you, and I'm gonna steal your job as uh, poison fighting Pokemon, and I'm gonna do it better than anybody else has done before, and I'm actually gonna make the game a living hell." That's where Toxicroak is. Poor guy. Uh, Tyranitar, it's just a matter of time. Tyranitar is the OU demon. Its Mega Evolution, I'm not going to talk about it, even though I am. Its Mega Evolution is just just Tyranitar, but I mean, you can just look at its stats. It's Tyranitar, but bulkier and a little bit faster. That's all it is. It's just better Tyranitar. But you set up sand again because you go onto the field, you set sand, and then somebody else switches the weather, and then you mega evolve to set sand again. That's what you do. But usually you just want to run maybe Choice Band or Choice Scarf or Leftovers or Clear Amulet. I run Clear Amulet. I also run Assault Vest with Rock Slide and Knockoff. Dude, they give it Knockoff. It's just it's a ticking time bomb before this guy goes all the way up here with all the buffs they give it. It's this guy has been here from Gen 2. It has one of the worst typings in the game, yet it is one of the best Pokemon ever, and that's because it gets Sandstream, and it's just busted. It's a great Pokemon. You get Low Kick, you get D-Dance, you get Ice Punch, Thunder Punch, you get Iron Head, you get Power Gem if you want to run a special attack. If you're running special, like a mix attacker, you run Ice Beam, Thunderbolt. I mean, there's so many things you can do. You get Helping Hand if you want to be supportive. If you want to do a Pelipper roll sort of thing with T-Tar, which I don't think you should do, but it is a thing you can do. You get Sand Tomb, which is viable in doubles. You get a lot of different things that make T-Tar viable, and that's why he's always been viable since the day he was created. Ursaluna and Ursaluna Blood Moon. Blood Moon's its own case. I'll save it for the future, maybe for a future video. But Ursaluna, you know how I said Cressy, just gets better over time? A core with Ursaluna Cressy and Heatran is incredibly strong due to the fact that you have really good defenses. You have a defensive type with good offensive with this guy that could also burn things. You have Cresselia that can set up Trick Room, heal its allies, and use like Psychic and Moonblast and like Ice Beam and Thunderbolt coverage, uh, etc., etc., etc. And then with Ursaluna, what you do is you just kill things. You have Headlong Rush, you have Facade, you have Earthquake, you have Ice Punch, Play Rough, Close Combat, etc. The only thing you can't hit is like Terra Ghost Cresselia, which I use just to counter this guy. But that doesn't really help me too much because it does. It just doesn't get rid of the dark weakness, which knockoff running around on Incineroar right now. Right now, knockoff got removed. Remember, Game Freak did something. They did a balance, which is great. But it didn't really help me too much because there was knockoff running around. But Terra Ghost, Cressy with Levitate, that kind of just counters someone who's not running coverage move, which most people aren't. So you could do that, or you could run like Heavy Slam, Gunk Shot, Ice Punch. I sometimes run, but I usually just run this. Again, I don't really follow my own advice running coverage move because it's better typically just run Earthquake because you levitate yourself. So it's the synergy between Cressy and Ursa. It's really good because you Earthquake, you hit the opponent's 2 Pokemon, and then Cressy Lunar Dances, you heal, you re-inflict burn. It's really good. Whimsicott I talked about earlier as well. Tailwind Setter with Encore, with Taunt, Moonblast, all good. I personally like to use Grass Knot just because like I usually have my Fairy type slot taken up by a Fluttermane or like an Iron Valiant or something along those lines. So, and also there's a ton of heavy Pokemon going around, but also like grass coverage is kind of not great, especially on a Fairy type when you'd rather run like Dazzling Gleam or Moonblast. But I run Grass Knot sometimes if the occasion calls. But just due to the fact of Prankster Tailwind, I would say it's a higher likelihood than Tornadus because you're faster, you can taunt him, and you have Encore, you can lock things into Protect, etc. For the final Pokemon of today, of the discussion, I want to talk about Zacian and how I don't think Zacian will win another tournament ever again. Zacian was a beast. Zacian was the best Pokemon, one of the best Pokemon ever for a little while. In Sword and Shield, Intrepid Sword was really good because anytime you switch onto the field, you got an attack boost. It made sense because you're a dog, you're a giant wolf, a fairy wolf with steel all over you, holding a sword in its mouth. It's really cool, right? So you'd say, okay, yeah, you have 150. This is the nerfed version, by the way. It used to have 170 in its attack. Its attack used to be 170 base total. The base stat used to be 170, which was absolutely insane. That in and of itself was broken. Having a guaranteed attack boost, no matter what, unless you get intimidated, but if that happens, you just switch out and switch back in, which was easy to do because Incineroar got Parting Shot, and then you also got Rillaboom with U-Turn. So, yeah, you got boosted, and then you play rough, Behemoth Blade, and Behemoth Blade was good because it did like, I mean, it has no additional effect now, but it did. I'm pretty sure it did like 2 times damage to Dynamaxed Pokemon, which at the time were, I mean, Dynamax is really strong. But you'd run a set like this. Some people, I mean, some, it wasn't a good idea, but some people ran quick attack just for priority so you could finish things off before they could move. But due to your speed, you'd be doing that anyway most of the time, so it didn't really matter. You'd run this stat and you'd be sailing. I said that it used to be 170 base power. I mean 170 base stat for its attack. They took away 20 points and made it 150. This alone is not enough to make this Pokemon unviable, right? Because, it still gets the attack boost every time it switches in. Oh, there's a little discrepancy here. It says once per battle. So as soon as Zacian switches in, it gets the attack boost, and then if it switches out, it doesn't get the attack boost anymore. So that's what really made this guy bad. Like the only time he's good is when he's with Regidrago, because that's actually a decent core. But the thing is, you would not lead with him. You would clean up with Zacian crowned, which is that's a whole different thing on who to lead with and whatnot. But I don't think Zacian is going to win another tournament. Anyways, this is what I think will be the future of Pokemon. Again, this is with everything we've been given within the past 13 years of competitive Pokemon, VGC specifically. I mean, things might be different in singles. Like I know Rotom Wash is really good in singles, but I don't play singles because that takes too long and it's also not fun. In my opinion, I'm not a singles guy. I'm not a singles guy. I'm BGC doubles. So this is just an like objectively like my opinion, but also like really educated guess on where these Pokemon will place in the future. In the comments, tell me whether or not you agree or disagree with my decisions, and tell me why, and also tell me, I don't know, just tell me how your day went or something. Do something. I don't know. Go outside, lay in the grass. You probably need it.